overcrowded graveyard, the scream will rise. Ghoulmates Entertainment presents Not Another Spooky Podcast.
Welcome back to Not Another Spooky Podcast, where we serve freshly popped horror reviews filled with blood, guts, and spoilers every Monday after a new horror movie drops. I'm Mandy Spooks.
And I'm Rabbit Loves Horror, and we're here to remind you, theaters are not dead, one bloody popcorn bucket at a time.
Whether you love going to every single horror release or you want to hear all the reviews and spoilers before spending money at the theaters, we've got you covered. The front half of the show never has any spoilers and will warn you when it's time. Today we're grave digging into the movie Drop. If you ever want to know what film we're watching next, you can tune into Not Another Spooky Podcast on Instagram on Wednesdays to see what you should watch that weekend. To set the vibe for this episode, we're going to start off with a little game of Bone, Marry, Slash. You all voted, and it seems you all love the spirit of unserious fun with this one. So for this episode, we decided to go with first date / first impressions vibes. So you always go first, so I'm just going to assume from now on you're going to want to go first.
I actually have not made my mind up, so if you can go first this time.
Okay, so we have Keith from Barbarian, who is Bill Skarsgård, or played by. And then we have Steve from Fresh, played by Sebastian Stan. And then we have Laurie, who is the werewolf girly from Trick or Treat, played by Anna Paquin, right?
Yeah, Anna Paquin.
Dang, I don't know either. Okay. I think I would slash Anna or Laurie from Trick or Treat because I've never vibed with her. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't vibe with her for some reason. And then I would, dang, this one's hard because I don't want to marry any.
I know. I'm struggling, so I don't know who to pick.
I would, bone Steve from Fresh, hoping that if it's like a one night stand, nothing would happen to me. Because he's very like charismatic. He's so cool. It's just like, yeah, I don't want to have those things done to me so that I don't give spoilers. If you guys have not seen Fresh, it is such a fun movie. I think I want to rewatch it soon. So
yeah, I know you had recommended it to me because I had seen it on Hulu or wherever it was, and you're like, you need to see Fresh, and I was like, it looks okay. And then I was watching and I'm like, oh my God, this is really good.
Yeah, it's so fun. And then I guess marry Keith. I mean, look, at least he's attractive, but I'm just like, he's also kind of shady and sus, but also dumb at the same time.
Yeah, he's kind of just there.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be a very boring marriage, but I don't know. Yeah, those are my answers. What about you?
At least you'll be safe.
Yeah, for sure. Well, not if he gets me into dumb situations.
That's true. Oh gosh, I guess for me, I'm gonna have to maybe bone Steve also from Fresh, Sebastian Stan, Bucky from Marvel. I don't know. There's just something about him that, I don't know, it just gets me. So we'll bone him and also take the risk of him like taking a slice of my meat. So
you gave the spoiler away.
Oh, sorry. But
it's okay. It's really old, so hopefully people have seen it.
Well, hopefully that'll intrigue you to go watch the movie. And then also, I'll slash Keith from Barbarian, Bill Skarsgård. Yeah, that character, he kind of just does nothing. I don't know. Just doesn't do anything for me. And I guess I'll marry Laurie from Trick or Treat, the werewolf girly. She might kill me, but I don't know. At least it might be like a fun night in the woods, hanging out. And she's also Rogue in X-Men, so I can't say no to that.
I figured that's why you would pick her, honestly. Yeah, I think that was the hardest one for me, oddly enough. There wasn't like hard. A standout for me. All right, let's get into some
haunted housekeeping.
All right, Ghoulsters, we got our first listener tag this weekend, so shout out to Stephanie for getting us started. Please tag us at Not Another Spooky Podcast when you go see a freshly popped horror movie in theaters, or if you watch a film we've covered once it hits streaming. We would love to see your thoughts on it. We are also a few episodes in now, and our listens are growing, which is really exciting, so thank you for all your support. So we figured it's a good time to ask you for your freshly pop review of Not Another Spooky Podcast on your listening platforms. If you could leave a rating on Spotify, that would help us a lot. And also a review on Apple Podcasts would be super helpful, because I know a lot of the older reviews are about the old format of the show. So it would be really nice to get some new reviews about how you're feeling with the horror reviews we have now. Any other updates, Rabbit?
No, just I also want to shout out to Stephanie. I had saw when you reposted it on Instagram. I was like, oh, how exciting. We have a person that's doing the same thing we're doing, going to the movies and posting it on Instagram. So thank you, Stephanie.
All right, Ghoulsters, it's time for our favorite chat of the week, Keeping the Spook Alive.
It's alive. It's alive.
All right, Rabbit, how are you keeping the spook alive?
So this week, or actually yesterday, we went to a vendor market, and it was so cute. It was kind of like a mini con or like a little artist alley, because they were selling a lot of like Disney-inspired stuff and also horror stuff. So it was like things like Monster Posse and all those other horror brands you see on Instagram. So it was fun. Cool. We were just out there. I didn't buy anything. I should have, but I just didn't have it in me to buy something. It was $30 t-shirt, which is like a Mickey vampire shirt. It was so cute, but I was like, I have too many graphic tees that I need to stop. So I didn't buy anything. But we also went to the theaters, obviously to see Drop. And when we got out of the theaters, it's kind of like in a shopping center. And usually there's vendors out there selling stuff. And there was a vendor out there that was selling Labubus, the thing I had told you about last week. And I actually bought one. And I actually saved it to open it on the podcast. So I have it right here. But the only thing is I was watching other people open their Labubus on Instagram, and their box looks different. So I don't know if I got duped and I bought a fake Labubu. So I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
How much was it?
It was $20.
Okay.
Which I thought was okay priced. So we'll see what happens. So I'm going to open it now.
Okay, our first little unboxing.
I know. Okay, let's see. I'm nervous. Oh, also, I'm hoping for the gray one because I really like gray, so I'm hoping it's the gray Labubu.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize it was a mystery.
Yeah, it's like a little mystery box. You don't know what you're going to get. There's like 6 different versions, and then one of them is a mystery that it's not printed on the box. So here we go.
Interesting. Oh, it's really concealed. The mystery continues.
Oh my gosh. I don't have scissors. Oh wait, you can just tear it. Oh, I'm so scared. I think it's upside down.
You got the gray one?
Oh my god, it's the gray one.
That's so cute.
He's so cute.
Oh my god, he is creepy.
Oh, you're so cute. Okay, I'm so happy. It's the gray one.
It is
But
really
also,
cute.
I don't know if it's a real one, but it feels legit.
I was reading that I think the knockoffs are called Lafufus.
Lafufus. To be honest, I thought that's what they were called.
I don't know. I could be wrong. I finally looked up the why they're so popular, and I was really disappointed by the answer. I thought they were popular for being spooky or something.
I just assumed it's like any cute anime looking thing, kind of like Hello Kitty, where it just like grabs the Western audience and we just go crazy with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's cute. Might be fake. I might have got duped, but it's still cute.
I don't know how you would even know I don't know what the original one is. It's super cute. Now I really want a purple one. I want a purple one so I could dress her up in the backstitch blue outfit.
Oh, yes, those outfits are so cute. I really like that. I might buy one, actually, and just kind of put it on and see how it goes. But yeah, how have you been keeping the spook alive?
I have been thriving this week. I was like, what am I going to share? I've been doing so much. The highlight for me was definitely watching Coachella. Every year, Mr. Spooks and I stream Coachella on YouTube. They have such a cool setup. I don't know if you've seen it. But their channel has like a different like live stream for each of the stages, and then there's also some quadrant ones where like you could click it and it shows you like 4 stages, and then you can like just have the audio playing from one of them, which is nice because like when you're waiting for one act to start, you could have it on like the tiles and still be listening to something but know when the main one's starting. So yeah, we nerd out on those things, obviously. We're like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, every year we do, that's like our annual tradition. And this year Lady Gaga headline, obviously, and she blew the world away with her set. It was so cool. I immediately wanted to copy her, do a little dance like her with the skeletons. So that was really fun. And I'll probably end up watching her set again next week because it was just really good. I think it's the best Coachella set I've seen, and we've been watching for a few years now. Yeah. And then I started Clown in a Cornfield. We were talking about this before we started, and I called it Corn in a Clownfield, and I'm like, why do I always get corn wrong? But yeah, I started the audiobook for it because, especially since we're talking about it, I was like, well, I want to be able to bring that like perspective from the book too.
Yeah.
And I was immediately hooked, honestly. I'm not super far in yet, but everyone who knows my reading journey knows I'm like really picky and like only like romance and smut basically. But this is not that vibe, but I was immediately like, oh, this is good storytelling and the way they're setting up the characters. So I'm super curious to see where it goes.
Nice. Well, I'm excited that you get to bring that perspective to the show because I'm really bad at books. I don't read books. I once in a while listen to kind of like an audiobook, but yeah, it doesn't really stick with me. So I'm glad you'll bring that perspective.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited about it, and I'm feeling like the release time of it was really good. I'm not far in yet, so I don't know, but I feel like it's a really good Summerween / Halloween vibes for it so far. So we'll see. It's definitely the era of clowns right now.
Yeah. When you watched the Coachella thing, did you have to pay for that? Or is that like
no,
free
it's
on
free.
YouTube?
Yeah, it's free.
Wow.
And you could just look at the lineup on their website and it shows you like the times and the days everyone's playing and what stage. The only thing me and Mr. Spooks were saying was that they should definitely add like either a time, like a clock, or a countdown to the next artist on the stages because they don't have that. But other than that, it's really cool.
I didn't know. I thought you had to pay for all that. So that's good to know. I didn't know I could watch it on YouTube for free. But yeah, I did see a lot of people going crazy about the Lady Gaga set. So I did see a couple clips on TikTok. And yeah, it looked really good. I saw a comment, or I think it was an Instagram story, saying, you know, Lady Gaga's back when they were accusing her of being a devil worshiper. So I was like, yes, Lady Gaga is back. And I love it.
That's hilarious. Yeah, no, it was so good. I've never been a huge Lady Gaga fan. Like, I've appreciated her for what she does, but I've never been, like, I've never stand for her, I guess, the way I do for Taylor or Katie. But this album has been probably my favorite era of hers. Like, immediately when I heard Killa and Zombie Boy, I was like, oh my god, these are spooky, I love them. And the whole show I was like, if she doesn't do my 2 songs, I'm gonna be so mad. Because it was very clear she was trying to she did nearly the entire album mixed with like her biggest hits, which was a really, really good set list.
Yeah, I did see a couple people posting saying like what songs she took from each album, and it was like a good mix of everything. But yeah, I loved Lady Gaga. I don't think anything will ever top the Fame Monster album. I feel like that album, I liked every single song, and I would just have that on repeat. But yeah, this new album is really good, and I think it's kind of going back to that album style. So yeah.
Yeah, I also feel like this tour or era is her Eras tour, but it's not like on the nose Era's Lifetimes thing, because it starts off with her kind of like battling her old self and her new self, like her old brighter self and then her dark self. And then throughout the set, she kind of was like battling older versions of herself. Like as a creator, I freaking love that, because people like the viewers don't always understand what it's like on like wanting to change and then being pulled back into it. So I really love that. But then I realized like she's fusing all of the eras throughout it versus like doing one era at a time like Taylor did. Which I'm like, this is so cool. Like I really feel like this is her Eras tour, but she's just like doing it more theatrical and like mixed together versus doing it one at a time. So I'm curious to see how the tour is.
She definitely has the mind of a mastermind.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Ghoulsters, it's time for the spoiler pack segment of the show. So if you don't want spoilers, this is your warning to pause and come hang out with us once you've seen the movie. What popped into theaters this week, Rabbit?
So this week, dropped into theaters, and the movie is about a widowed mother's first date in years takes a terrifying turn when she's bombarded with anonymous threatening messages on her phone during their upscale dinner, leaving her questioning if her charming date is behind the harassment. So a little trivia I found out about this movie on IMDb is that it was loosely inspired by, I guess, one of the producers. They went out to a dinner, I guess you can say, and they kept receiving random Shrek drops in their phone, which is kind of funny. And that kind of inspired them making this thriller of like, you know, a crazy person putting random drops in your phone and threatening you. So that was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Nice. Thanks for finding that.
Yeah. And then, so the cast. So the director is Christopher Landon, who worked on movies like Heart Eyes, Freaky, Happy Death Day, and several of the Paranormal Activity movies. And then our stars are Meghann Fahy, which is Violet. She's in The Bold Type and White Lotus. So that's cool.
I didn't know about White Lotus. I really need to watch it. Everyone's talking about it.
I haven't seen the newest season, but I did enjoy the first two seasons, so I do recommend it. Cool.
Okay. Sorry.
And then, no worries. And then next is Brandon Sklenar, which is Henry. And I guess It Ends With Us, but I've never seen this person in my life before.
Yes, he is the third party in It Ends With Us.
Oh, he was the reason it ended?
Not really. No, okay. Not really. But he's in it.
Got it. Okay, so first impressions with this movie. I thought it was a really fun movie. It wasn't my favorite movie, but it wasn't also like the worst movie I've ever seen. But yeah, she probably was the worst date ever. Tragic date. But also she was so pretty. I would just like see her and I'm like, your skin is so smooth and you're so pretty and you have the perfect bone structure. I was just like, wow, you're such a pretty woman. What were your first impressions?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I wasn't sure. I was like, I'm either going to love this or hate it. And I also fell in between, but I was enjoying it. And I also kept thinking, why hasn't this guy just left already? Like, you suck. Yes. Like, I knew why she sucked, but I was also like, this guy is being way too nice right now. Mm-hmm. But yes, I've always had like a girl crush on her since The Bold Type. And it's funny because I asked Rudy like, oh, do you think she's attractive? And he was like, yeah, she's one of those actresses that's almost like too pretty. You forget to like focus on the movie. And it's funny hearing like the male perspectives on it because I feel attracted to her because I feel like she also seems really like nice and genuine, like just really warm. Mm-hmm. So that combined with her being pretty, but it's also not like some of the women where I'm like, oh, she's like really attractive. I just find her very like likable. I don't know what it is about her.
No, I agree.
So yeah, I think because I've seen her in other shows, it was easier for me to kind of like put that aside. But yeah, I felt that the movie would like, it wasn't amazing or terrible. I enjoyed it, but I did kind of find it silly that they didn't just turn the airdrop off.
Yeah, that was kind of a plot hole, I guess you can say. She could have just turned it off. But I mean, I guess if I were to side or like be the devil's advocate saying like, yeah, but if she turns it off, she still worry about her son if her son would get murdered or whatever. So yeah, it's kind of like you could turn it off and then what? You have nothing to do. But then also, is it risking your son's life? I don't know.
That's true. I hadn't considered that part. But I feel like there were multiple opportunities for her to turn it off before she found out about her son,
True.
you know? So I don't know. I felt like that part was kind of silly. Like they could have found another way to like make that part make sense. Which is interesting because I feel like you're more critical of those kind of things than I usually am. But maybe my screenwriter hat is just like on constantly now that I'm like, would I catch this? Would I catch
looking
that?
for the holes. Yeah.
Yeah. What else? Go ahead.
Sorry. Before we move on with the rest of the review, I do want to ask you one question.
Okay.
Do you have any crazy first date stories?
Not crazy. I'm trying to think.
Not too crazy? Well, that's good.
No.
I do have one.
Okay, go. Tell me everything.
So, this was in 2013. I had just moved to California, and Insidious 2, I believe, had just came out. And we had planned to go on this date. I believe it was like a Wednesday night. It was like a random weeknight. It wasn't during the weekend. So when we went to the movies, there was nobody in the theater. It was just me and him.
On a first date?
Insidious. On a first date. Yeah. Bad decisions. Went to go watch Insidious 2. And I don't think he was really into horror movies because obviously my suggestion was like, oh, we should go watch Insidious 2.
Yeah.
So we watched, I don't even remember what this person looks like. I don't remember anything about him, but we went to the theater. We get in the theater. There's nobody there in the theater. It's just me and him in there. And the movie starts and it starts getting creepy. And he's like, I'm going to the restroom. And I'm like, okay, he's got to go to the restroom. And he's gone for a long time. I don't know if it was just because I was in there alone that it felt like a long time, but I was terrified because one, I was like, did he just leave me at the movies and just like, because he picked me up, then took me to the movies. Gosh. So I was like, did this person just leave me alone? Like leave me stranded at the theater? And two, the movie was scary.
Yeah.
So I was like, I am so scared right now. There's nobody in this theater and I'm all alone. And I was terrified. He eventually did come back. But it felt like 30 minutes later he was back.
Oh my God.
But yeah, that was terrifying.
That's crazy. And nothing happened? I guess you guys never met again, or?
I can't tell you what he looked like. I can tell you his name. I don't know
what
he's doing now.
That's super random. Yeah, no, nothing creepy, I would say. Like, bad first dates, yes, but not creepy. Unfortunately. Maybe fortunately, but they would have made good stories.
True.
I love the questions you always bring. Okay, so one of the things I was going to say is I kind of felt like it was a little slow for a while. Not slow, but it was just like, okay, so like when are things going to kick off? Because even when the piano guy got the drink and like got sick, I felt like that was a little anticlimactic too. And I was starting to feel like, is this gonna pay off? Like this film is kind of like we knew all this was gonna happen, but I did feel like it paid off. Like I was like, okay, the whole like part where like she actually interacts with the guy that's controlling her and everything kicks off. I was like, okay, that was actually pretty action packed and it did pay off. And I did like that they had a surprise for us with the whole widow thing because they showed it in the trailer, but they didn't give away what had actually happened, which was nicely done.
Yeah, I agree. I like that they gave us the backstory of how it led to this point and kind of showed us her trauma, I guess you can say. Yes. So I did like that. Another really big thing that I did like about this movie is that it was kind of like rapidly introducing us into all of these people and making everybody look suspicious. So it was like the host And then like, oh, was it the host because she sat them at this specific table? Was it the guy that bumped into her because he grabbed her phone? Was it the bartender pretending to be friendly? Or was it like the newly hired waiter, like suspicious? Why are you a new waiter at this nice restaurant? So that was kind of fun trying to like figure out who is doing this. So that was cool.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like too, as I study screenwriting, I'm always like, how do you make things not predictable? Like, it's so hard to surprise an audience. Like, the worst thing for me is when people are like, that was so predictable. Like, I knew what was going to happen. Like, that's like the worst thing that could happen, I feel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And even though I had all those theories, I had literally ruled that guy out. Like, I was like, there's no way it's him. Like, everyone else seemed so much more suspicious. So that was really well done.
Yeah, I agree. They kind of made us forget about him in a way.
Yes.
Because it was just so many other things happening that it made you forget that she actually interacted with this man. So that was cool. I do also want to give her credit for thinking on her feet, because I wouldn't have known what to do when he's like, take the memory card out of his camera. And I'm like, I wouldn't know what to do. Like, I would just like, well, just take my son because I don't know how to do this. So I thought she was very smart of how she handled everything. So I do want to give her kudos for that.
Yeah, you're like, sir, I'm not smart enough for this. You chose the wrong girl.
Yeah, take my son.
He's done for.
Take my Labubu.
Let me enjoy my date. Now one of us needs to have a kid to call them Labubu. That's funny.
But yeah, another thing I did really, really love about this movie was the camera work. I don't know if that's considered cinematography, but it was the part where they were isolating everybody, where it would just get really dark around them and it would just focus on that one person and be like, is it this person? And then it would switch to another person and it would just like darken the background and only focus on them. That part was really cool.
I don't think I noticed that. Wow.
Really? It was like, is it the teenagers at this table? And then like everything would go dark and it would only like light up that one person. That part was really cool.
Oh, interesting. I didn't notice that. I'm very disappointed in myself, but maybe because it just felt so natural too that I didn't pay attention to it.
And they would bring up like text on the screen also.
That
like
was
I really
cool.
liked that. I really enjoyed all that. And then also at the end with the camera work of when she finally gets to the house and the guy kind of throws her on the counter and she like gets on the counter and gets thrown off the counter and the camera just like blunk, blunk, like turns with her. I thought that was so cool. I was like, do it again.
Hit her again. Throw her again. Yeah, no, I did like the elements of how they like added more like digital type things to it and even like hearing the drops come through. Although I will say I feel like the trailer had way too many drop sounds in it. Every time I heard it, I was like, okay, we get it. It's a phone vibrating. But yeah, no, I agree. It was fun overall. And I think those little elements of like the text coming up and the sounds and all of like the digital stuff really made it more engaging because it could have been a little more boring. It kind of almost felt like, did you watch The Menu?
Yes.
I kind of was getting that vibe. I was like, is it gonna feel slow like that one? Because I feel like The Menu was pretty slow, but I think adding those things in is what kind of made it more interesting and engaging. And even her like actively like moving around and trying to figure things out, like I was really impressed with how they kept the story moving, because again with the trailer I was like, this could get like, okay, is this the whole movie? Like her just at a restaurant? But it was really cool seeing how clever she was about like even going to use like the chat on the computer. And then in my head, I was like, well, technically, I don't think you can zoom in enough to see if you hit send with those cameras. But it was still a cool thing. Actually, I did have a question for you. And maybe this is like dumb of me to think, but because me and Rudy are always using cameras and stuff. So like when you said the whole SD card, like would you know how to, like not getting him away from it, but would you know how to immediately take an SD card out of a camera?
I think so. You just push in, right? You just like have to find the hidden flap and push in and then it ejects.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Rudy was like, I'm pretty sure, but I'm like, well, I don't know, because like I've met a lot of like younger generations now, and a lot of them aren't like as familiar with computers the way we are either, because they're growing up like on cell phones. And I'm like, and we use cameras all the time, like throughout our entire lives, because it's part of like our professions. So I was like, would like a random person that doesn't do media know how to do that? I don't know. It was just an interesting thing to me.
No, now that you bring that up, yeah, that is interesting to think about, because I feel like our phones are our cameras now. Like for a lot of people, we don't have a digital camera. We just have our phone and we use it as our digital camera. So I think that is interesting because, I don't think the younger generation really knows about having to use SD cards because it gets full. Because we just have our phones, and if your phone fills up, you just buy like the iCloud and then upload photos, and you get more space, or just delete things off your phone. And nothing really uses kind of like SD cards anymore. So that is interesting.
Yeah, and even just like how she like navigated the camera so easily, of like being able to like look at the pictures and then like took out the card really fast. I was just like, I wonder, I mean, granted she is like more our age demographic, so she'd be more used to it, but I was just like, even how you were like, I wouldn't know what to do. Like, I feel like in one of those moments I'd be like, oh my God, I forgot how to use a camera, because like you're so anxious, like those moments when you're like, I do this every day, and then you're like, I don't know what to do right now.
Yeah, I just wouldn't know what to do. I'd be like, so can you show me your camera? I don't know. Like,
what pictures did you take today?
Awkward. But I did want to talk about things I didn't like about this movie.
Okay.
So the timing and the pacing of the movie was really weird. Specifically, like how they ordered a new glass of wine in the beginning. And that glass of wine didn't even come until after they got their appetizers and after they got their meal. He's like, oh, by the way, I have your glasses of wine that you ordered like 30 minutes ago, which I thought that was weird. And then I feel like there were a few loopholes, like when they brought her food and there was a $20 bill that she had put in to the piano guy, and it was like under her duck. And I was like, how'd that happen? And how was the date not saying that? So there's money in her plate. So I thought there was like a few things like that were off.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the wine was also just like adding to like what a bad date it was, though, because like I've gone to dinners with Rudy and stuff where it's just like they bring stuff out of order, or something takes too long, or it's too fast. So I feel, and then I think the waiter just being bad because it was his first.
True.
I think was just it was just more to add to like how awkward and bad the date was.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
But I did find it really sweet and weird at the same time how the guy was like, I know something's wrong and I wish you would just tell me. Like, his character was very consistent throughout the whole thing because he never really showed frustration. He was more concerned that something was wrong, which I thought was really sweet.
Yeah, I agree. He was like the perfect date, very understanding, very chill. And yeah, I feel like in the trailers, or even like the summary I just read, it felt like it was making him look like it was him behind all of this, like invite her to this date, and he had people there kind of doing things for him, and how did he know about the 50 feet drop thing? So it was definitely set up for him to look like it was him, but yeah, throughout the movie you're like, oh no, this guy just seems like a really cool guy.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of wish you had seen the other movie he's in, because then you'd be even more like in love with him.
I already am.
Then you should watch the movie, because he's more like dark, brooding boy in the other film, and it's a really good film. It won't make you cry, but it's really good, so I recommend it. It Ends With Us is what it's called. I kept forgetting what it was called. Have you heard about all the drama with that film with Blake Lively?
Yes and no. I know it was Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively and some other guy kind of like battling out. And I think they even did something in like the Deadpool movies of mocking the other guy or something like that. So I don't really know what's happening. I've just heard about it.
Yeah, it's a lot of drama. I won't get into it because it'll be a major sidetrack. But the movie is... I did not read the book. I've heard the book is better, but the movie was really good. It's a tearjerker for sure. And all I could tell... I told Rudy, I was like, man, she had this guy on set and she's more upset about Justin Baldoni. Like, come on.
Yeah, nothing would have mattered if that was my co-star.
Yeah. He would have risked it all. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm curious to see what he's gonna do next, because he seems to be like this next up and coming guy. Because there's not a lot of. I feel like Hollywood's in a weird transition right now. Like all the old stars, like Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Nicole Kidman, even like everyone's kind of like aging and on their way out.
True,
but this like new era of stars is kind of weird, because like the ones who are emerging, like Pedro Pascal and Glenn Powell, is his name Glenn Powell? They're also on the older side, but they're like getting their big breaks now. So I'm like, who are the younger ones? Like the younger ones seem like kids still. So there's like this weird gap. And I feel like he is a good filler for that gap that we don't have right now of like older, like guys who can play off adult roles that you can take seriously, but also that are not like aging yet.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's going to give Pedro Pascal a run for his money, because I feel like they could play similar roles. So I think they're probably going to be in competition soon.
Maybe. I hope he gets more opportunities, because like they also just made such a great couple, I feel. Like they're both very likable, very attractive. Like you can believe that they're together. They had good chemistry. Which I feel like lacks a lot lately too, is like I feel a lot of couples I've been seeing on screen don't have a lot of chemistry. So overall, it kind of just came together that they're both very likable and very attractive.
Yeah, definitely. I did believe them as a couple. So yeah, I definitely think they had good on-screen chemistry also. Cool. I guess another thing that frustrated me about this movie was at the end, when she kind of confronts the guy that was doing all this. And he kind of told her that she was playing Yahtzee. And she was doing such crazy things, like even going to the table and telling him that she poisoned his dessert. I feel like, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just poison his dessert and then go hide in the bathroom until somebody like made a commotion, like, oh yeah, there's a guy dead in the restaurant. And I feel like that would have avoided him being shot, the bartender being stabbed, and then creating all that commotion for her to fall off the building, which I feel like her falling off the building was kind of like necessary to be like the climax of the movie. But there's no way she would have survived that. There's no way hanging on by like a power outlet.
Yeah, and that he saved her with the gunshot. Like that part was crazy. Yeah, for sure. But I mean, I think, again, devil's advocate on this for sure, is I feel like that's also just a woman trying to like have the last word of like, you called me stupid and I got you, bitch. Like that's kind of how I saw it. And like, yeah, I think to our own detriment, we're always trying to prove that we can be smarter or one up males. And then that happens. So
yeah, I guess I didn't think of it in that perspective, but yeah, I guess I can see that.
Yeah, it's just that, like, satisfaction of, like, no, I got you.
I got you, yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, no, that makes sense. I'm trying to think what else. I did also think that actor was really good. Like, he did a really good job of, like, having his, like, likable older man to switching his off switch to, like, being a jerk. And then, like, switching back on when the guy came up to the table, too. Like, he did a really good job.
Yeah, I agree. He deserves a shout out too. He did a really good job. Because in the beginning, I was like, oh, that's a really cool guy, you know, also on a first date, relatable. And then he like switches it into this like super bad, arrogant guy. I'm like, okay, yeah, that guy's pretty cool too.
Yeah, he did a good job. Okay, my last one was just, I don't know if maybe I just like wasn't focused at the beginning or not, but I hadn't caught on that the babysitter was actually her sister. I probably just missed that at the very beginning. I just thought it was like a friend or something. So at the end, when I realized like, oh, it's her sister, I was like, okay, that actually brings all of this together, because I was just like, who's really gonna fight for a kid the way the sister did? Like, just the way she like didn't give up and she was like relentless about it. Because I was like, this is giving like Halloween vibes in a way with like the whole babysitter thing. And then when I realized it's her sister, I was like, okay, that makes 100% sense now. Cause like I would do anything to save my nibblings. And then even at the end when she's at the hospital, I was like, that's such a good dynamic of like showing like the sister relationship too. So I really enjoyed that part. And I wish I had caught on sooner that it was the sister and not towards the end.
Yeah, I do think they did say it was her sister in the beginning of the movie when she first got to the house, but maybe I'm just assuming that I remember that. But yeah, I did like the relationship. The end where she like pretends to be another drop person, I was like, okay, that's too far. Yes. Like, why would you do that? Like, you're still in the hospital. Like, stop.
I know. Well, I was thinking like, what, are we gonna get a drop too? What the heck? And then I thought it was funny though. It was a good. It got us on our toes moment of like, wait, is it not over?
Yeah, true. But also, now that you're talking about the son, that kid is gonna go through a lot of therapy watching his dad pull a gun on his mom.
I know.
And then an intruder chasing him throughout the house. That poor kid. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, for sure. He was so cute though. I thought that's what you were gonna say. He was really cute.
He was really cute. He was, yeah.
He's such a cute la-boo-boo.
Yeah, he's a little booby.
All right, Ghosters. It's time for It's Freaking Bats. On a scale of 1 to 5, how many bats would you rate this film, Rabbit?
I'm going to give it a total of 3 bats. I enjoyed it. I had a good time, but it wasn't anything show-stopping, but it also wasn't bad. So 3 bats for me. What about you?
Ooh, I think I'm going to go with 2.5. Like, it was, I know, but I was really excited about this film because I love the actress. But I don't feel like I would want to watch it again.
That's true.
Like, it was enjoyable, it was entertaining, but I'm just like, I don't feel like I'm going to be talking about it for weeks either. Like, Woman in the Yard has become a dark horse in my life because, like, it's not a movie I would typically like, but, like, Ramona's madness has really resonated with me. And I know that sounds crazy, but, like, in my head lately, I'm always just like, today's the day, Mandy. Today's the day you're going to lose your shit on someone. Or even just, like, I don't know, in general, the whole, like, the R thing, too, keeps coming up in my life. Like, how many times do I have to tell you, like, to the right? So, like, that movie was just, like, up until the ending, like I had said, it resonated with me and it was fun. Like, I had fun watching the front end of it. This one, like, it was enjoyable, it was entertaining, but it's not like, oh, I had so much fun watching it, I want to watch it again. So for that reason, it's, like, shortly under the 3 for me. Because I feel like 3s are like, okay, the 3 and up are solid films. Okay, and before we part ways for the week, let's have a little moment of Be Kind Rewind. We're all about the vibes here, so if this film hit just right, here are a few spooky picks you can rewind to that match the mood, the madness, or the mayhem. What's your pick, Rabbit?
So for me, this movie, like you said earlier, before we started recording, this movie wasn't really like horror. It was more like a thriller, suspenseful movie. So something that fits that genre for me is going to be Knives Out, which is kind of like a mystery, like who done it, like who killed this person, and they're all trying to like figure out who did it. So it kind of gave me those same vibes, and plus Chris Evans is in it, and he's one of my favorites. So yeah, definitely watch that one.
That's funny.
What about you?
I've never been a Chris Evans fan for some reason. So my pick is Ready or Not. I feel like it's similar of this like girl trying to get herself out of a situation. She's super awesome and killer, and I really want to rewatch the film. So that would be my pick, and I'm probably going to rewatch it soon. Lots of movies we talked about today that I want to rewatch.
I know. Yeah, Ready or Not is a really fun movie too. I feel like I need to rewatch it too.
Did you hear they're making a sequel?
I did. Which, makes me need to watch the first one even more because I don't remember a lot. But I do remember that I did enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure. And I do remember that I thought it was Margot Robbie the whole time. I was very shocked when I found out it was not Margot Robbie. All right, Ghosters, we hope you had a bloody good time hanging out with us today. Next week is super exciting. Sinners is finally dropping into theaters this weekend, so we'll see you here next Monday with our freshly popped horror review.
And remember, keep cinematic horror alive on the big screen and go see something spooky this weekend.
And tag us. Until next time, sending you ghouls and kisses.
Bye.